Hello everyone, I'm Kibitz and welcome back. Huh? What? Oh, we can't use that for legal reasons? Oh, okay. Welcome back everyone to another Satisfactory video. Today we're going to be looking at a build that I'm actually pretty proud of. Now, this actually wasn't the intentional build I wanted to do first for you guys on my return, but it actually is the one that was finished first, and I'm still working on my nuclear factory. The facility that we're going to be looking at today is producing electromagnetic control rods, which will be sent over to our nuclear power plant, because it is one of the things that we will need. And so I actually want to show this to you guys because I think it turned out really well, and this actually has a different mentality when it comes to how it was built compared to all of my other builds. So we're going to kind of fly around the exterior first. You can definitely see we're going more for a modern look here with this type of design, using a lot of windows for natural light coming in, but then also just because it looks pretty cool. We have Steve over here. He actually does help us out with our conveyor from time to time, who got stuck in here inspecting it, which I think is actually pretty cool. The backside here, you can actually see that we have all the different ores coming in. Now, if you're looking at this and you're like, man, why are the conveyor belts so empty? It's because of just the amount of resources that we do need. This is the most efficient factory I've ever built in this game, and so we're getting just the exact same amounts that we need just to produce 100% efficiency on everything. So the miners over there might not be at 100%, but they're running at 100% compared to the amount of, quantities that we need of everything. And then over here on this side, another small detail I actually really love for some reason is that this little entrance here that kind of shows the flow of water, because there is this river here. And then if you actually come over here, I did the same thing. Just a nice small detail that kind of shows hey, I know there's a river here. I'm not trying to cut it off. So just a small detail here. Okay, so let's go inside and give you guys a tour of the entire facility. So the first thing you see when you walk in are the signs here. This facility does produce 6 electromagnetic control rods per minute. Now, the reason why we are producing 6 is because we are going to have 3 manufacturers over in the nuclear power plant. And to produce the uranium fuel rods, we just need 6 total of these rods. So that's the reason why. And then you can look at the signs over here. So we have assembly, which is actually right ahead of us. We'll get to that. We have the completion, which means just the finished part of, the full 6 magnetic control rods. And then we have the manufacturer, which is the only one in this facility. And then we just have smelters to the right, constructors to the right, and then the basement access as well. Right here, we can actually control all of the lights. So if I switch this, you can see that now it changes all the lights. Everything is connected to that in terms of the lights. And then eventually we can control the building power as well. So we can turn on and off the entire facility if we did so choose to. But we're going to start over in the beginning of where everything starts. Now, when I said at the beginning that this has a different kind of philosophy compared to every other build that I've ever done, usually, if you kind of follow the channel, I've done all my builds in kind of a room-based system. And so what I mean by that is, let's say I was producing, these Createin ingots, but then over in the next room, they're producing the quick wire. I would actually have the smelter and then the constructor in the same room producing that quick wire. And then if I was making, iron ingots or steel ingots, I would have those in a separate room. This time, I went with a different mentality of having all the smelters and all the constructors in separate rooms, along with even the assemblers. So I wanted everything to kind of feel more like the room itself has a general concept of smelting or different materials like that. So if we look at this, you can see we're running at 100% efficiency, like everything is in this factory. This one is, we are producing 18 steel ingots per minute, which will then go into the next room, which we will get to. And then the next 3 smelters are producing Createin ingots, because we actually use a lot of Createin, because we are using some alternate recipes here to get our numbers, because nothing is overclocked either. And then if we walk out this door, you can see where all the ore comes in, but to also see that we have this window here, which I'm actually pretty happy with. I like how this looks. And you kind of see all the ores coming in. And pretty much everything in this facility is using a Mark 1 belt. There are a couple Mark 2 belts, but that's about it. So going into the next room, we have all the constructors. So again, in the first room, we had all the smelters being in their separate room. This time we have all the constructors being in their separate rooms. So this one is producing the steel pipes. So the one producing the steel ingots is then being sent into this room. And then the next 3, we have quick wire being made at 45 per minute on all 3 of them. So you can see here, Createin ingots, 100% efficiency as well. And then this one over here is the one that's producing the copper sheets at 6.6 per minute. And again, we're running at 97% efficiency here. So pretty much close to 100% efficiency. You can see things coming in from the smelters in the previous room, kind of coming in. I've been adding all of these road barriers to like all of my conveyor in this build because I just kind of like how it looks and separates the conveyor like it's not floating. So I kind of like how that looks. And then if we just come down here, you can see all the different materials kind of being exported into, you know, the basement underneath. So here's actually where you can see everything is being sorted into their specific rooms. So if we come all the way over here, you can see that here's where the copper's coming in. Over here is where we have the caterium. And since we have 3 constructors or smelters producing the caterium ingots, we are splitting it in 3 different ways evenly. And obviously so far it's been working just fine because we're running at 100% efficiency. This one is the coal. This one over here is the iron. And then when we are done with the constructors, we'll actually take them back down, and then you can see we have the quick wire, we have the steel pipes, and then those will be taken back up to their respective rooms. So we can see these steel pipes taking their turn and then going up into their assembler, which we'll go look at now. Okay, so we're back up top, and so this is actually just on the other side of our entrance. So where we had all of those signs, we're gonna now come straight into the assembler room. So the assemblers here are just producing, one is producing the circuit boards. You can see that we're using a alternate recipe, which does need copper sheets and silica. So once again, running at 100% efficiency there. And here we're only producing 3 per minute. So only running at 24% clock speed, but we're running at 100% efficiency and producing the amount of quantities that we need. Over here, we're producing the stators, which is why we need the steel pipes and the quick wire. Once again, you can see running at 100% efficiency here with everything. And then if we just go out the other way, so now we're right where the ores come in again. So I wanted like everything to be like really easy access, and so there's probably a little bit more space in this build to make it smaller, but I wanted everything to kind of feel like it had a purpose, but then also have enough walkway to make it kind of feel like an open floor plan, if you will. So then to my right, we have the other assembler. So this is the one producing the finished electromagnetic control rods, which again, we are producing 6 per minute. Our clock speed is running at 75% capacity. We are using a alternate recipe, so we could bump this up to 8 if we ever needed to, but we won't need to because our power plant does not require that, since we're only going to have, you know, a need for 6. And then in this room down here, we have the big manufacturer. Now, because of the alternate recipe, which is why we need this high-speed connector. So the reason why I went with the alternate recipe was that way I didn't have to overclock anything, and this also produced the amount that I needed of the electromagnetic control rods. So it just kind of made sense to add this part here. So once again, running at 100% efficiency, but we're needing quick wire, silica, and circuit boards as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the tour of this entire facility. I love how this thing has turned out. I think it's probably the most efficient and clean factory I've ever made. So I definitely think the way I built this is going to be something I'm going to do in the future with all of my builds. And so you're probably going to see a change in philosophy and mentality in a lot of my new builds coming up. But speaking of new builds, the one video I was actually supposed to make before this one was for a nuclear power plant, but I restarted that 3 times. I'm on my 3rd attempt right now because I really wanted to make something special, and I didn't like how the first 2 turned out, but I'm so far loving how this 3rd one is turning out. I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview now without giving you guys too much. So here is where the nuclear power plant is. So all these electromagnetic control rods that we are making now will then be sent over into this entire facility. So here's what it's looking like so far. I'm super proud of how it's turning out. I'm not going to show you guys the inside because it's not quite done yet, but once it's done, you can be sure I'm going to be making a video on it because I'm so excited to show this off. It's one of my best ever builds in terms of aesthetics, but then also efficiency as well. So that's, again, everything we're kind of do is based off efficiency right now, but I also want to compare that and, you know, make that with good looks as well. And I think that's what this is doing so far. So far this is turning out great. But if you did like this video, guys, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one of this amazing nuclear power plant. I'm so excited to get this thing done because it's also not going to have any nuclear waste. In this facility, it will be producing no nuclear waste. So that's going to be the other thing that's incorporated into this. So the build will get a little bit bigger and more detailed as we go, but so far it's looking really good. So thank you for watching, guys. It is greatly appreciated. It's so good to be back into Satisfactory and playing and enjoying the game again. It was nice to take that break, you know, kind of get some creative juices flowing again, but it feels so great to be back, and I will see you guys for the next video. Bye-bye.